Hi everyone, this is Natasha Scott of the College Admissions Bible, and today's video is specifically for my high school juniors. Sophomores too if you're a little anxious, but mainly for juniors because it's time to put together your college list. Putting together a college list is all about weeding through the thousands of universities and colleges in this country and around the world, and weeding it down to about 8 to 10 colleges that are the absolute best fit for you that you're actually going to apply to. And not just schools that have big fancy names or a school that your dad went to or the school down the street from you. I'm talking about finding the schools that are absolute best fit for you because they meet your needs personally, socially, academically, and you're actually going to be happy there for 4 years. So let's get to it. Step number 1, ask yourself, what do you want in a college? We're gonna take a nice long trip down the lane of self-discovery. Keyword self. This is not about your mom, your dad, your friends, your boyfriend who you're gonna break up with before you go to college. This is about you and what you need in a college. You need to figure out what kind of environment you'll be happy in and you're going to thrive in. So you need to ask yourself a couple questions. Location. How far from home do you want to be? Do you want to be in an urban campus, a suburban campus, rural? You got to think of the weather conditions. Do you want to be in a hot area school or in a cold weather school? Size and type. Do you want to go to a small liberal arts college that has like 1,000 to 5,000 students? Or do you want to go to a monster state school with like 30,000 students? Or a specialized art institute? Or a single-sex college? There are so many different types of schools to consider. Academics. Now you might not know what exactly you want to study, but you might have a clue of what interests you. So you need to find schools that at least have majors that are interesting to you. Now what kind of student are you? Do you thrive in small class sizes where you have really individualized attention by your teachers? Or will you be fine in big lecture halls? The atmosphere. Do you want to be surrounded by other intellectually oriented students? I'm talking about, the Ivy League schools that are very academically, intellectually driven. Or do you want to be at a big party school with, a huge fraternity scene and sorority scene? Or a school that has, Division I athletics. My sister doesn't even play football, and one of the most important things for her was to find a school that had Division I football. Do you need a school that's ethnically diverse? For me, I wanted to go to a school that had at least one other black person, so looking for schools that had a diverse student body was very important. Step number 2, put together a list of non-negotiables. So after you go down your lane of self-discovery, you'll start to realize what qualities are important to you. And you come up with a list of qualities that are must-haves in schools. And this is what I call your non-negotiables. Most students aren't applying to small liberal arts colleges and big football schools. Students aren't applying to NYU and the University of Hawaii. These are just completely different worlds. I went to the University of Pennsylvania, and before I landed on that school, my non-negotiables were I wanted to go to a city school that wasn't too far from home. I had a strong communications program that had a sociable student body, that had an ethnically diverse student body. These are things that I had to find in a school for me to be happy there. Step 3, meet with your guidance counselor and put together your preliminary list of colleges. So this is the step where your guidance counselor comes in nice and handy, and hopefully you've gotten to know them over the last 2 years so that when you're walking into your office, they're not looking at you like, who are you? So now you're gonna sit down with your guidance counselor. They're gonna take your list of non-negotiables, pair it with their knowledge of you as a student, and then their vast knowledge of all the universities and colleges in this country and around the world. And they're going to put together a preliminary list of about 20 to 30 schools that you're just going to start researching. Step 4, make sure your preliminary list includes schools in 3 categories: safety, match, and reach. So safety school is one where you absolutely academically exceed their credentials. For instance, your SAT, your ACT score is well above the average of their typical freshman class. So it's quite certain that if you apply to this school, you will get in. So match school is one where your academic credentials fall within range of their average freshman. So if you apply, there's like a 50-50 chance that you would get in. Now a reach school, I'm talking about the Ivy Leagues, which are reaches for everyone. I'm talking about schools that have admittance rates of like 10% or in the teens. These are schools where academically you might not reach their credentials, but you're going to apply anyway and give it a shot. So this step is very important because you must apply to a fine, balanced list of schools. I want you to dream big, but also dream reasonably. Most of us tend to get so one-track mind and so gung-ho for our reach schools, but it's very important to remember and be realistic that if you don't get into those schools, you need to have some other schools as backups that you're going to also be happy to attend. So it's extremely important that you also apply to schools that can be categorized as safety or match schools. P.S. If you're a D student, Harvard is not a reach school for you. it's a long lost dream. Step 5. Research, research, research. Once you put together your preliminary list, get online and just read. Get on the websites of all of these schools, spend a good 30 to 40 minutes and just read and look at all the pictures and just really get to know these schools. You also want to talk to any alum you may know, any current students, you want to go on school visits, you want to go on virtual tours online, you just want to explore and just literally become obsessed with researching all of these schools. And through all of this, you will quickly start to narrow down your list. I remember I had schools on my preliminary list who I initially was in love with, or at least I thought I was in love with them, until I went on their website and saw stuff that didn't really match so well with me and quickly crossed it off the list. So slowly but surely, through all your research and your visits and your talking to people and getting opinions about these schools, you'll slowly start to narrow down this list of 20 or 30 preliminary schools down to about 8 to 10 actual schools that are absolute best fits for you that you're going to apply to come senior year. So those are the 5 steps of putting together your college list. Few things to remember. Do not get stuck on school rankings and big fancy names. Just because the school sounds amazing doesn't mean you'll be happy there. Now, you absolutely must narrow down that preliminary list. I've heard of students applying to 20 to 30 schools. Nobody has time to write all of those essays. Nobody has money to pay for all those application fees, so you need to get this list down to 8 to 10 schools. And last but not least, never apply to a school that you wouldn't be happy attending. Because if your reach schools don't work out and you're left with your safety and match schools, you want to at least be happy to go to those schools. All of this insight and more can be found in my book, The College Admissions Bible. Please visit my website, www.collegeadmissionsbible.com, for more information or to purchase a copy.